What's up, everybody? I'm Jared, the Stacking Surfer, and today's a live stream, so this is live, guys. I've got a great guest with me, Parker from Sigma Metalytics. So he
Hi,
heads some
everyone.
sales over there at Sigma Metalytics, and we're going to call him a senior VP because it sounds like a great title.
Yeah, whatever title you want to use, I'm happy with it. And now that it's on the stream, it is official. So
It is
we can
official,
just
so
stick with that. Yeah.
you got to tell everybody
Yeah.
they got to pay you for it too.
Yeah.
Um, so we had a great video that came out. It's one that we filmed about 6 months ago, and it just came out.
Yeah.
It had gotten stuck with one of my editors, and I couldn't find the video. I finally was able to find it off of a Google Drive, and so we got it edited and put out there. But I'm excited that we were able to get it out there because these devices are something that I use a lot. So I've been using. Remind me what you call this one.
That's the PMG original. Very cleverly
PMG
named
original.
because it's the first one we came out with.
So I won't go to a coin show without this thing. And what's great about it is it has a battery in it, so I can use it and charge it. And it's not too big. I can put it in a backpack, or I could carry it around with me and go testify things.
Very
test
mobile.
things. And then I recently picked up the Pro as well. So we're going to show you guys these. And then I did get a bridge with the Pro. We do Long Beach coin shows, and we have people that come up with kilos and with 100-ounce bars, and they want to do a deal real fast.
Of course. Yeah.
And for us, a lot of times those larger ones are things we're going to flip at the show. We're gonna resell it back to another smelter or a refiner. And I've got to know that it's real, and I've got to be able to test it pretty quickly because it's a lot of money. You don't want to get stuck with something that's fake. So anyway, I wanted to bring you on, Parker, to talk a little bit about the devices, about kind of the history too, for those that maybe haven't seen the video yet. And then we'll do a link from this live stream, guys, if you want to go see that video. But you'll see both of our faces there, so it shouldn't be too hard to find it. I think it came out about a week and a half ago or so. So let me do this too. I'm going to pull up this so you guys can kind of see the devices here. And this is our makeshift studio we created in about 10 seconds.
You're making the devices look real good. I appreciate it.
Good? You like that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very good.
So first off, what I'm gonna tell everybody here, I used my own money to buy these things. Okay. I did not get any kind of discount codes. I didn't call them up. They didn't send them to me. In no way, shape, or form am I being paid for this video. I'm not sponsored for this. This is like a community service. Okay. You guys have to test your coins, your bars, and find out if they're real or not. Okay. So even though I've got Parker on here, oh no, where did it go? Right here. Another thing I'm just going to show you guys that people will use too are these pingers. Okay. So you can buy one like this. There's a couple different companies that'll make them. You can also take 2 silver coins, and you can try to balance it on your finger, put something underneath it that's soft. So like a couch or a blanket or something. And you can hit these and you can get sound off of it, okay? But if you're not using an app that's going to give you the resonance for this, you're going by your ear. It's a little bit tricky. It's not exactly scientific, right? The other issue you run into with these guys too is it's going to test the sound and the frequency. They have a certain coins that you can test on an app. Outside of that, you're going to be having to do the same thing. You're listening for the sound, and can you really tell the difference? It's going to be part of the issue. Now, it's one thing to be doing a 1/2 ounce of silver. It's another thing when you're doing a ounce of gold. Okay, these are worth a lot more money. Okay, you don't want to spend $4,000 on buying a fake coin and then realize, okay, I lost $4,000. And so when you guys are getting started, I don't think it's probably, I don't think it's unprudent to get one of these devices, but I don't think you necessarily have to run out and get one right that minute. But a lot of times you can find a coin dealer that has them, or if you're at a coin show, a lot of times they'll have them too, and they can test them and show you that it's real. Now, I also recommend buying from a reputable store. Okay, so any of the big online bullion dealers, if you're going to buy from someone on eBay, make sure that what they sell as gold and silver coins and make sure they've got over 100 cells and 5-star ratings. You do have a buy guarantee from them there too. The biggest telltale sign is when someone's selling something for a lot less. So instead of asking for, say $4,500 for a gold coin right now, they come out and say, hey, we're selling it for $4,000, $200 below spot. No one does that.
Yeah, that's to jump in there. That is our number one tip to people: is if a deal is too good to be true, it probably is. And we've got that in our manual. We've got that on our website. We tell people all the time, like, that is the easiest way to spot a fake, to spot a questionable piece, is if there's no reason anyone would sell something below spot right now. Um, and so, yeah, be on the lookout if your little radar goes off that something feels too good. It just might be.
Yeah, it might. It definitely might be. So a quick thanks to @Christopher James for the 1,000 joules. We love those things. Those are great. So, Parker, kind of looking at this too. I'm gonna show a couple different products that I have, and I want to see if you can help me understand if one of these machines is better than the other for it, or if
Sure.
they can both work on there. But
Yeah, and just to while you're
this is give
getting set
people
up,
kind of a helpful thing. So this is a 1-ounce gold coin,
yeah,
and it's a kangaroo, so it's 4/9 fine, 24 karat gold, and it's a little bit of a different shape. It's a little bit, I think, thicker and
mhm.
smaller radius than like a gold eagle that I'll hold up next to it. I don't know, you guys may
Yeah,
have
gold eagles are
this.
the 22 carats, so they're going to be slightly bigger anyway because they've got
They're a
that
little
little bit of
larger.
copper in
They
there.
they
Yeah,
still need to have a full ounce of gold in there too, right?
yeah,
So I'm assuming with either machine, this is going to work well.
yeah. I mean, just to hit a point that you mentioned earlier about the ping tester and about ring testing, we are huge fans of any testing. We want to be a tool in the toolbox. We don't want to be, I mean, sure, you can rely exclusively on a Sigma device, but we're not offended if you have a ping tester or another app to check things, or there's cool apps that will scan your coin and tell you what it is, and like as a photograph to tell you what year and everything. Um, don't turn away other testing. A real sample, a real piece should pass every test you put it through. Um, and I think there's sometimes folks feel a little need to be like, well, no, I've got my one piece of truth. That's the one thing I'll rely on, and I'm not going to use anything else. There are certainly companies that want to be like the one and only. They want to be the everything platform. That's not us. We go into pawn shops and vaults and bullion dealers, and they have our device and an XRF and a ping test and a this and a that. Fantastic. Do all of those things. These pieces are so valuable, they really should be tested in every way possible. For those two pieces you have specifically there, the gold kangaroo and the gold eagle, both devices will test them, no problem, through the plastic. The original, the one on the left, the kind of shaped like a T, the smaller one, you should flip it over and read from both sides if you're going to test it on that, because the signal from one sensor will go about 40 to 45% of the way through a sample. So by flipping it over and testing it on both sides, yeah, you're going to get,
I needed it.
about, yeah, 80 to 90% of that sample. Then on the Pro, which when you're dealing with gold, I tend to recommend either the Pro or the Investor, um, which is the third device that you don't have here. It's our newest one. It's kind of, if the original is the baby bear and the Pro is the papa bear, the Investor is kind of the mama bear. It's for dealing with things in the middle. Um, Both the Pro and the Investor test all the way through the sample. So it's you can sort of see it on the stream right now, but the Pro has a little bridge that kind of hangs out over the top, and you slide the sample in between it. And that's got a sensor in it, in the top and in the bottom, so the signal's going all the way through. Um, and yeah, there you go. You're getting the test result right there, and just flip it over and make sure it's coming up in the middle. So again, on the stream, I think you can see it. There's that little hollow box inside the brackets. That means you're getting a good test result right there. So you've just tested a $4,000 piece of gold with a little PMV. It's very exciting.
And I've got like platinum. So if I put platinum on here with gold,
Yeah, the devices have their own settings for all the different alloys. I know there was actually a question on the other video we did about 90% silver and clad pieces. We can talk about that in a moment too.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
wanted to definitely hit that today too. So like I can do platinum on here too.
mhm.
So I've got a platinum eagle here.
And depending on the size of the case, platinum is very thin. There you
So
go. Yeah, so sometimes you got to hold it right in the middle, but looking good, flip it over. And there you go. Yeah, it's got to be centered over that sensor. If it's not centered, you sometimes see those readings kind of drift one way or the other. But that's another great piece. I don't even know price of platinum off the top of my head. I'm usually just looking at
and then we
gold and
got
silver.
silver too. So just to show you guys on here for silver. So here's a couple silver coins.
Yeah, looking good. And real quick, while you're doing that, to answer a question from the stream from Syntax 2600, yes, your investor has two sensors as well. That little adjustable arm has a sensor in it, and the base of the device has a sensor in it. And they're sending the signal between them. And so you're able to test all the way through your sample. No need to flip them over when you're using the onboard sensor on the investor.
Now I'm gonna do a tricky one. Okay, this is a really cool coin I picked up.
Ooh, these are always spooky. I'm never sure how they will test on these. I assume it's got the inlay kind of.
Yeah.
Um, is
So
it actually gold in there, or is it?
it is super incus, gold gilted. Okay, so this is one of those things that you need to leave coin shows quickly with your cash, or you'll end up getting stuck as you leave. So this is like the last booth leaving. It was another dealer, but it's a really cool coin. If you look at it, it's
Wow,
completely
that
incus
is
and
cool.
it's really cool.
That I can
So
tell you right off the bat, that's going to be very tricky to read, but it's just a cool coin to see. There's something about it. Like I
it
don't know if
is.
it's the
So
shininess or just design, but my brain just gets excited
well,
about seeing cool
first
coins
off,
like
these
that.
are pretty unique and they're not worth like a gazillion dollars, right? These are less likely to be counterfeited in the first place.
Yeah,
You know, if you go to NGC, you can go and look it up and look up the code on here and go see if this is the coin that's pictured in there. For someone to go and try to replicate this, it's probably not worth their time. Now, if it's a Morgan dollar, totally different story.
yeah,
But I am curious to see what this would show up as.
yeah. Give it a shot. While
So
you're testing that, again, to just answer a question from the chat, we will address the firmware update pause later in the video once we're through some testing.
there you
So
go. It
look at
comes
that.
up as silver because it's a silver
Comes
coin,
with a
guys.
silver.
It's a silver maple leaf, so it's 4.9's fine.
That
Yeah,
front is probably going to read weird with all that gold inlay, especially
yeah.
it looked like it was pretty high relief too, is that right?
It is pretty high relief, so it's not even
Yeah.
touching the silver right there, right? Now,
Yeah, when you have super high relief like that, the signal gets a little wonky as it goes
yep.
super deep into relief.
So
So it'll just
this
look a
one
little weird.
I picked to be tough, okay? Because I do want to get that point across that you're bringing out, Parker. So um, for me, there's a couple things that I think are really important for everybody to look at. Okay, number one, if you're going to go and spend thousands of dollars and then tens of thousands, and if you get into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, you should be spending. I always tell people not to. We don't have a lot of shoulds here because when you say shoulds, you know, there's too many different situations that can happen. But it's highly recommended that you spend a fair amount of money on a safe and a way of verifying that these things are real. So, for example, if you have $100,000 in gold coins, yet you're not putting them in a safe, you're definitely being risky, in my opinion. If you're going to have $100,000 in gold, you probably should be spending anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 bucks on a safe. And the reason for that is you want to get to a security state. And if you're only doing gold, the good thing about gold is you can get to that value with like 2 tubes of gold buffaloes, right? So you don't need to have a massive safe. It could be about this size, right? And they don't really make TL rated safes or security safes quite that small, but you can get a smaller one that's highly secure, which also means you can hide it in a better place. But if you're like, hey, I'm going to go on Amazon and I've got $100,000 in coins, and I'm going to go spend, you know, $300 on a, I'm not going to say the brand, but they're mostly for documents, guys. It's waterproof and fireproof, okay? And they sell a lot of them at Costco. Those ones aren't going to, they can get opened up in like a minute from someone that knows what they're doing. And a lot of times you can't even bolt them down. So you got to be smart about this and get the right thing. At the same time, you don't want to go buy such a big safe if you don't have a lot of things to put into it that's going to draw attention to it. Same thing with these kind of machines here. You can get a pinger for a few bucks, and this will help you really quickly know if something's good. And maybe we'll kind of show that in a minute too. But if you're buying a bunch of gold, honestly, I would go beyond the pinger. Having a pinger is good for a quick thing. I want something like this that's going to verify it. And I've been using the small one for a very, very long time. So I've done a lot of coins on this. The Pro is new. And so as you were saying on here, Parker, when I'm testing this for gold, I'm going to test it like this when it's pure gold. Mm-hmm. But if I do pre-33 gold, it's going to be a little different. I don't know.
Yeah, we have a 90% gold setting that would cover if it's standard pre-33 gold, unless it's from an oddball mint or foreign mint.
I don't have that with me, but if I were doing that, I would go to a different setting, which would be...
Should say gold 90%.
Yeah, it's going to be this setting right here.
There you go. Yeah.
And then there's another one specific to American Gold Eagle. However, it was working on the other one too. And
yeah, we have a couple different like settings under different names. It's just kind of preference for people. So especially on the Pro, it's a little more obvious that under the gold menu, there's 22 karat, balanced copper. And then under the coin menu, there's gold Krugerrand. And those are the same alloy, but it's just how would you prefer to test it? To hit your point on the safes and the testing, we're also a little avoidant of should. We don't want to tell people how to live their lives, but we do think more testing is good for everyone in the industry because the people who buy the coins from you know that they've been tested, they've been kept safe. And it's all about your risk tolerance. Some people seem to be okay buying hundreds of thousands of dollars of gold and never testing it themselves. Some people are, buy only a couple ounces of silver a month, and they still want it tested by a PMV, which is great. We want to be available for whoever needs and wants to get their testing done. And same thing I think goes for a safe too. Is you should be safe, of course. It's your risk tolerance. And yeah, there you go. You can see that silver testing on the Pro. As you can see on the Pro, it's got a full color screen. It's a little bit bigger. It's got 2 bars instead of 1. I don't know if we talked about this in our video interview, but those 2 bars are telling you both the surface reading and the through reading. So you're getting a little bit more like testing resolution, as I call it. They should both line up in the green. And then, yeah, you can also test through coin flips, through hard shell plastic, through coin cases, that kind of thing.
I'm going to take this out real quick too.
Quite a few settings there as well.
So, like you can put it on one of these things, guys, and just so you can get the sound. But if that's all you're going to use, you better have a really good ear.
Yeah, the people who can do that by ear alone are massively impressive. Every now and then at a show, someone comes up and does that, and I'm like, oh boy, I wish I had that talent. I don't.
So the smaller one, let's talk about that for a second too. And by the way, guys, look, this is not a promotion for you saying you need to go out and buy these. What we're doing is we're talking about the importance of testing. Okay, first off, there's many different ways you can test. My friend Tiger Stacker, I'll do a shout out to him. Mods, if you can put a link to Tiger Stacker's channel in there, he's done a handful of videos on Sigma Metalytics. You should totally talk to him, Parker. I don't know if you've done that yet. He does a lot of these, so you should definitely go on his channel too. When you're looking at this, it's just another method and a way to use it. When I'm at a coin show and someone brings me in 1,000 dimes and they want me to pay them for the 1,000 dimes, I have to check 1,000 dimes real fast. Otherwise, I'm not selling to someone else, right? Because I'm buying at that moment. So we usually have one person set up that's buying, one person that's selling, or a couple of people that are selling too. We try to buy things at a better price than anybody else is paying at the show, and then we try to turn it around and flip it at the show and give people a much better value. And some of this I participate in, some of it I'm just using my banner and I'm helping, my friends that are running the coin show. So it's not like a big money maker for me. For me, it's usually a place to buy a little bit of metals and get a good price on it. But because they're trying to flip it real fast. We got to make sure it's all real. We don't have time to verify it later. So we'll actually have 4 or 5 of these machines all set up, ready to go, and we'll have a few people split it up and they'll start verifying it. If you're going to be doing that, no brainer. These totally make sense. If you're going to be buying a bunch of 100-ounce bars, I highly recommend getting something like this because you don't want to be cutting through all of them to find out they're real. Now you can
In fact,
take.
that was, I
Yeah.
think one of the questions in the chat was about can they test poured silver? Yeah, if it fits under the sensor and it's supposed to be pure silver, if it's poured, hand poured, or milled, stamped, whatever, you should be able to test it. And that external bridge can test up to 45 millimeters thick, which is like 100-ounce silver, 400-ounce gold. If anybody's walking around with some 400-ounce gold bars and testing them on their pros, please send us pictures. We love to see that. But yeah, those big bars, you don't have to cut them open or anything like that to test them on one of our devices.
So it'll test gold. So there's the gold eagle. Now I don't need to flip it with this one, right? Because it's doing top and
Correct.
bottom.
It's going all the way through. It's testing right through the middle of that metal. Any metal between the two sensors is getting tested.
Okay,
So
now here's the other thing. My friends that were doing this with me at the coin show, they only have this device, and they were doing 10-ounce bars with this, and they were telling me that they went all the way through the 10-ounce bar with the wand. Can the wands go all the way through, or should they be using this to test the bars that'll fit underneath it, or the bridge?
yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news for your friends, but maybe you can make them buy you
I
around or
told
something.
them.
Yeah, the wands, because there's only a sensor on one side, they will never go all the way through.
Yeah.
Same thing with the originals onboard sensor; it's not going to go all the way through. The way to go all the way through is have a sensor on each side of the sample, so the signal can pass all the way through. It can go fairly deep, but it's also relative, like the size of the sensor relative to the size of the sample. So it changes the percentage of how much that sample is being tested. So with a 10-ounce bar, I think those run like 8 or 9 millimeters thick. You're testing up to about 1.5 millimeters on the largest wand available on the original. So you test 1.5 millimeters from both sides, takes you to like 6 millimeters of untested silver in the middle of that 10-ounce bar, which is enough room technically for someone to hide, a copper rod or a lead rod or something like that in the middle of your silver bar. So, especially on thicker samples where counterfeiters have more area to hide something inside of it, you want to use something that tests all the way through, like the pro or the investor. The investor can test most 10-ounce bars. Usually can test all the way through them. If they're less than 10 millimeters thick, it'll test all the way through them.
Okay, that's good to know. So now I haven't totally set up my bridge on this one yet to test it. Is that something that takes a little bit of time and to calibrate it, or is it something we could do while we're on here?
We can certainly try it while we're on here. It usually is just a plug and play thing. If you've never done it before, it might take a moment to set up, and it does, require large bars. So if you've got a large bar, we can try testing it. If you don't, we can just show.
I've got a large. I have to go get it, but I have a large bar.
Wonderful.
So
Then
if we want to try to get that set up, we could try that. The only issue I might run into is I've got yellow on the battery. So
we'll see what happens. It goes to red, so we'll see. Willing to
okay.
use it until that battery dies, but
Okay,
much like the original,
so
it has a battery
walk me
built in.
through it real quick. I've got this here. I've got the bridge I'm going to put next to it. There's obviously a connector that's here.
Yeah, the old school, like kind of, I don't even know what it's called. I should know. But the old school connector, you just plug that right into the side. We have the screw ins there, so that, in case someone tries to walk away with your bridge or something, it's not going to mess around with it too much.
Yeah, it reminds me of like my old PCs.
There you go. Yeah, we're very like steampunk in our design. We like the old school components.
There we go. It just brings back memories is all.
And then once that's in, it's just best practice to move. We call it the plunger, which is that little adjustable thing on the bridge. Just, pull it straight up. There you go.
All right, you guys put a 1 in the chat if you want me to test a 100-ounce silver bar. And we'll go get one of those to test.
And while you're getting it, Jared, I can answer questions from the chat if people have them.
Okay, I will be right back.
Wonderful. Everyone should give me your questions while Jared's getting the 100-ounce bar. Did I miss any?
Do you know where the other camera is?
I'm scrolling back through, seeing if there's any missed questions that I should have answered. I think there was a question about, oh, how is it at testing 1 gram silver bars? 1 gram silver bars would be pretty tricky. I don't see many of them, frankly. Silver below like half an ounce is pretty unusual, but the small wand should be able to test those. You can always compare your sample size to our published specs for how big of a sample we can test and just make sure it's the right size. I'm sure there are 1 gram silver bars that are very wide or it's short and thick kind of thing. So you should double check against our documentation, but I think it should be testable. You have 2 of your 3 wands don't work anymore. Very good question. We are very proud of offering repairs and sending units in to us for things. So you should email us info@sigmametalytics.com with like a description of what's going on, or you can submit the repair form on our website. And one of our excellent customer service people will take care of you, get you set up for repair, or troubleshoot with you, that kind of thing. Make sure we can, because all 3 of your ones should be working. And if for some reason they're not working, or they can't just be like recalibrated to the unit, we can always replace them, that kind of thing. Back orders on original or on PMVs, yes, there's long lead times right now with the explosion of metal prices over the new year into the early this year. We're a small company. We build everything kind of by hand. So it's been a lot to get back on top of those pre-orders, but we are coming up on it very soon here. You can put your pre-order in now or go through one of our distributors. They might have inventory, and get a unit for yourself. Did we get a 100-ounce bar?
And I got a tricky one for you too.
Okay, I like tricky ones, especially on live streams. It doesn't make me nervous at all.
So here we got a 100-ounce Scottsdale silver bar. Okay.
Right on. Okay.
Now I tell my people I don't show my full stack, but you guys are getting a little bit more of my stack today than you would normally get. But this is a 100-ounce Scottsdale mint bar. Here's my index finger. Okay, so this thing's thick. It does have a serial number on the back of it, right? And you can see that they always do the swirls. You can see the front of it. But I did not buy this from a reputable seller. Okay, my friend called me up and said, "Hey, I've got a bunch of these. I need to get rid of them. You want to buy some of them?" And I'm like, "Well, what's the price?" And he said 50 cents below spot. And this was a year ago, May. So silver was sitting at about $36. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. I don't want 100-ounce bars. They're heavy, they're big, they're harder to move. It's a little harder to sell these things. But at the right price, I'll take them. What I do like about these guys, just as a side note, is they stack. So they have it kind of pokes up here on the top and then it goes down in the bottom. So we're going to test that guy.
I appreciate, just as an aside, that you've called your friend an unreliable
unreliable
source.
So it is my friend, but the reason I say unreliable is he bought it from someone else, right? He does not have a bridge to test this.
Okay.
Now it came in a box that says Scottsdale on it. I think there's 4 of them, and it came with a COA. So it looks pretty good, pretty legit.
It's walking like a duck and talking like a duck.
But he didn't buy it from buy it from one of the big, online bullion dealers. He bought it from someone else local. And so he's not unreliable, but the source and the what would you call it? It would be the
provenance of it.
Yeah, the word I'm thinking of though is custody. We don't have a clear custody of ownership over time, so that's kind of unreliable. And so when I bought this, I did not have all of this stuff. Testing it on the smaller one with a wand isn't going to go through this.
Yeah.
it's going to do the surface. So we did test it with the surface with the wands, and we're like, okay, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty legit. I'm not worried about it too much. Okay, the other one I have is a silver kilo. These are this is like my deep stack collection. This is stuff I will.
Is it domed?
With. Yes.
Yeah, look at that. Wow, very cool. Yeah, that's
So
going to be tricky, but it'll be fun.
It is
tricky.
domed. It is a stacker, so it has the same pattern on the front and on the back. And this is a replica of Achilles' shield.
I was going to ask, is it Achilles' shield with the history of the world on it? Oh my gosh.
Yes. Look at that.
Very topical for the Odyssey coming out too.
It is. It's very topical for it. And this is number 197 out of 333 that they made. It's 3/9 fine silver. It's a kilogram. Right there, guys. Wow. 1,000 grams. Okay.
That'll be, I can't guarantee the testing results on that one. That'll be interesting to test. For the 100-ounce bar, I will also say that, like, I tell this everyone who comes up to our booth at any shows or anything like that, we are just the messenger. Please don't get upset with me personally if this bar turns out to be bad, but I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah, let's test it. So I want to see a 2 in the chat if you guys want me to test the Achilles shield. We already did the 100-ounce bar one. You guys put a lot of ones in there. Okay, so I hit calibration here.
Yep, it'll go through. So when you press that button, it's going through all of its internal checks, making sure everything's working properly. If there's any issue, it'll flag it.
Now I'm set to Gold Eagle, so I need to change that.
Yeah, let's set it to pure silver. Which, if you're on the coins menu, if you click the left arrow, it should take you to, other than left arrow one more time, silver. Faster. Yeah, so, a little bit easier.
39's fine silver there. Okay.
And then you will need to set the weight to be 100 ounces. So the weight button there. And then are you on, weight mode on, and then you want to scroll up to 100 ounces or down to 100 ounces, whichever direction it goes.
Yeah, we'll go up to it. Okay, 100 ounces.
Perfect. Now when you slide it on, it's going to prompt you and ask how long the bar is, or how wide the bar is, excuse me. And the millimeter scale that's printed on your external bridge is accurate, so you can slide it into the corner and measure the width of that bar.
Now you guys are asking me to get up and maneuver a little bit. Just a second.
That's right. Yeah, we're getting real tricky. If you're going to give me a tricky one, I'm going to give you a tricky one.
Well, look, I want to show everybody how these things work, right? So, okay, so here we go. So I've got it in the corner here, and we are at roughly 75.
Perfect. Yeah, it doesn't need to be hyper exact. 75. And then
for the length, we're at 155. All right, so let's put that in.
And it might already be started at 75. If it already is, that's just our average guess, so that's great. And then you can just press the measure button on screen once your correct values are entered.
Where did you say?
The measure button.
Okay.
Should take it. And then now you press that plunger down to be touching the top of the bar. There you go, and give it a moment to settle in. There you go. You got 2 lines in the green. That's
I didn't get ripped off by my friend. That's a good news.
That's excellent news. That is great news.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, and to again, just for thorough testing, it's the part that's between the 2 sensors that's getting tested. And because that's such a long bar, it's good to slide it back and forth a little bit to make sure, as long as you're covering that black circle, you're probably going to get an accurate test. There you go. And again, it takes a moment to settle back in. Let's just see.
Just tell me, wait. Now, if all of a sudden you did that on a big bar and it showed that it wasn't good on that area, then I guess that's a place you would know to maybe cut and look into it.
To cut or to use the wands. I'm always hesitant to tell people to cut things and to damage their pieces.
Yeah, I'm not telling. First off, we're not telling you guys to cut your stuff.
No, don't even open the case. Leave that in the case. Leave it in a coin shop.
Not financial advice.
Yeah, but I got a call from a coin shop in Florida one time, and they said, "Hey, the bar tests good for most of it except the corner." And it turned out they had just carved out the corner, filled it with lead, and covered it back with silver. So when you tested most of the bar, it did read as real silver. This one little area was just lead. And so counterfeiters will try anything to sneak one by you. So test all over. Make sure you can.
So that's good because those are expensive. So I'm glad that one's real.
Yeah, That was, yeah, that would have.
Now this
Gosh.
guy is a little trickier because with the width of it,
Yeah, it's a round piece, which I don't know how our external
it
bridge
will
does
go
with
as
round
it goes as
pieces.
wide as possible.
Okay.
So
And
that's
then
going to be 120.
because it's domed on the bottom, it's also going to be
It's not
a
going to
little
it's
odd.
not going to hit it flush. No.
Yeah.
Um,
And you got to change the weight to 1 kilogram out of
yeah. Let
out
me
of
do
100 ounces. Which you're on the ounces right now, so if you click, I think the right arrow, it'll take you to grams,
perfect.
and then you can put in 1,000 grams.
And then measure. Let's see. How do I reset measure?
Well, then if you once you put it on there and it detects that the sample's on there, now because it's domed, that metal's far enough away from the sensor, it might not even be detecting that there's a
I
piece
think they
actually on there.
also go upside
You could
down.
try flipping it over. Yeah.
There we go.
Now it's asked for the
This
width.
might be the better way to test it, actually. Let's see what happens.
Let's see. Borderline right in the red. I would think
not too
part of
bad.
that is probably from the shape. When you have odd shaped pieces, they push slightly to the right. I think the relief is also probably there. Are you on 3 nines or 4 nines fine for your silver setting?
3 nines.
3 nines. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably the shape.
Well, here's the good news. It's not way off the scale. You know,
Correct.
when
Yeah.
I test fake ones on here, it's not even on the scale at all. It's way off of it.
Yeah, there'll be that value will be just.
And this
hard
is a
right to
tricky
the
one, guys. I didn't even tell Parker we were doing this. So, you know, we're finding out some of the, you know, I mean, how many of you are buying these things, right? They only made 300 of them. So
Yeah.
there's
I'm sorry, we can't design the device for absolutely every
the
shape of
odds
metal that can be made.
the odds of any of you guys buying one of these is pretty slim.
However, to address this piece and a question that just came up in the
Yeah.
chat of what are the wands for, this is a perfect example of what the wands could be used for. Every device comes with 3 wands that can be plugged into the side. They're just quite literally plug and play. Just click it in, device recognizes that you've got it in, and then you can touch it to the face of the piece. For odd shaped pieces like this, you could just run the wand along, you know, the full curvature of it. I would use the medium or small wand to start just to see what happens. Probably the medium wand. And this is a great example for why the wands are a useful addition on the devices.
I have a large, a bullion, and a small.
Go for the large. It's technically it's in actual size, it's like small, large bullion.
Yeah,
And
it's the
so the
middle
large
one.
is the middle one. Yeah.
All right, so let's turn that off for a second. We're gonna take this guy off for a sec, so I can.
You
can
It's
see it.
totally fine to turn it off when you're switching it out. You can also leave it powered on while you're switching it out.
It's just it's about to die on me. I need to recharge it. Okay, we're gonna move that out for a minute. This is like what I want to bring you guys. I want to bring you guys some real stuff that helps you understand how these things work. So you can see me putting the wand in there on the side. That way you can see more of it.
Calibrate again. And if you've plugged in the wrong wand or there's something wrong with the wand, it'll tell you, hey, this wand isn't working.
Okay, I want to do a couple shout outs for you guys real quick. By the way, we are going to do a giveaway at the end here. And then as soon as we're done here, we're going to roll into a members only live stream. So if you guys are members, stay on. It's going to just pull you over. If you're not a member, let's see. Actually, it might end up, it might start a new one because, no, I think we can do it. I just need to open up a, yeah, we'll do it. It'll filter right over for the members only. If you guys want to join a membership, it's 99 cents. I took it down to lowest level to get you guys in there. You know, why do we have anything? Well, there's certain things we want to hit that aren't totally public for everybody that we want to put out there. Some of it may just be from liabilities perspective. Some of it's giving you guys tips and tricks. And so I've taken it down to $1. That's the lowest it'll let me go. Just so you know, Google takes 30% of all that stuff. I'm not getting rich off of it. It's the lowest thing I can do to get you guys in there. We'll also be doing a members only call next week, maybe this weekend if I can get it put together. But come and hang out with us on that in a few minutes here. But a couple quick shout outs. We got 440 joules from, let's see if I can show it. There we go. From Lynch Manji. And he's been leaving some great comments and contributing to this to the community, which is great. And then 949 Designs, thank you very much for the 5 stacking surfer memberships. So if you guys got one of those, thank him as well. And then the $10 super chat. Beware of buying these used. This is from Leo Gunn 5150-15C. Be careful of buying on eBay. I almost got scammed. Luckily, I got the Verifier Pro drop shipped second day from Gold Buy Supply in Pennsylvania for a great price. Love it. Worth every penny. So you guys, it can be totally worth it. You know, one of the things that I would also tell you with eBay stuff, they do have a guarantee. So first off, if they haven't sold 100 and they don't have a 5-star review, you're risking yourself. Okay. If they're more than that, then you've got a pretty good shot of doing it. You might want to test it out with something like silver that's not as expensive to see how that buyer or so the seller packages it, sends it, all that kind of stuff. When I'm selling, if I've got someone that has no reviews, I cancel the sell. I'm not going to ship them a gold coin if they have 0 reviews and they're offering close to the right price. Very rarely do they actually offer the right price. They want to get like 50 or $100 off, or they want to get $400 off, you know, crazy things like that. It's just not worth even selling to those people, but you always want to test stuff. So let's say you just had it sent to you, don't have one of these machines, call your local coin shops, ask them what they have to verify. They may have these, they may have a different device. Take it down to them, find out first if they're willing to do that. Take it down to them and have them verify it, and then ask them what their deals are and pick up a little something from them to support the local community too.
To the point about, I think there's a question in the chat about like where to buy a verifier that's in warranty and who to trust and everything like that. Like, unfortunately, just like precious metal coins, PMVs are subject to being counterfeited as well, and people like trying to scam those because they're hard to find right now. We have a list of authorized distributors on our website. A lot of those guys have eBay stores. A lot of them have their actual web stores that they go through. If you buy through one of them, you're going to get a legitimate device with a legitimate warranty. You can call us or call them if anything goes wrong with it, or you got any questions on it. And then on eBay, if you're looking to buy one, maybe used or secondhand or from a friend, if you can get the serial number of the unit and then contact us and just say, hey, is this unit still in warranty? Is this a legitimate serial number? We will very quickly just look it up and say, yep, that one's still in warranty, or no, it's out of warranty, or, et cetera. And that will, at least give you maybe a little bit of peace of mind. But also another thing we talked about at the top of the stream is definitely, this is a community thing. Like buying gold and silver it's a very small market, a very small world. Go make friends with your local coin shop. Go make friends with your other stackers in your community. You can pull your money and buy a PMV together. You can go to your coin shop and use theirs. I'm sure they're getting a customer out of it as well, and they want to build a good relationship with you. And they also know how to use it. They know how to what to set it to. They can probably show you how to use it.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of ways of like getting access to a PMV without necessarily having to buy one yourself or buy a brand new one. And we want to help you guys use a legit one whenever possible.
I used to use them at the coin shop, and then when I decided to get one was when we were going to start doing the coin shows. I need it right then. I don't have,
Right.
That even when I was going to the coin shows to buy stuff, I needed it right then. I didn't want to mess around with it. And this is when gold was about $1,700 an ounce. And so, looking at it, I'm like, okay, I can justify the cost of it because I'm going to be buying a significant amount. It makes it worth it, right? So yeah. If the price of one of these is going to be half of all the money you're going to be putting into metals, maybe it's a little early to get one for yourself, but go find one and go verify it. Okay. Get to know how the thing works, the machine works and all that. If this is a fraction of what your value is in your precious metals, I recommend just having one on hand, because now when you go to sell your metals or you go to buy new ones, you've got the way of verifying it, even for your other family members too. For me, I could have sold this other one to another person. I had a lot of people wanting to buy it when they heard I got this one. but I like to be able to have two of them too. It just gives me more of them to use and to keep going. And it did take me some time to find this one. They're in high demand. And so I think I ended up getting this one directly from you guys. I was like on an email waiting list and it came through.
That's all right. Yeah.
So I wanted to show you guys the results on this real quick. This is interesting. So it tests positive on the back of it as pure silver. Okay.
Nice.
Front of it is high relief. And so I don't think it's getting enough with this wand. It might need the smaller wand. So it's coming off just a little bit.
The small one can be a little susceptible to high relief as well, but that dome shape is just it may be thrown off.
It's a tricky one. So yeah, the reason I brought these out too is not to put you on the spot, Parker. Hopefully you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
It's to show you guys that the world isn't perfect. Not everything goes exactly, the way that you're hoping it will go with things. And what do you do when you have something at a coin show? I've just tested this in a couple different ways. Do I buy it? Right? Is it real? This isn't going to work in the pinger. It's going to break it. It's too heavy. And I don't have two of these to bang against each other, right? So, what can you look at? You can look at the way it's machined. Okay. You can look on the side of it. It actually calls out what it is. So it's AG, 3/9 fine, 1,000 grams. And it has a serial, or not serial number, but number 187?
197.
It's 187, but it is a little bit worn on the bottom. So it's a little bit hard to see. And you can look at other pictures that come up. You can weigh this. Does it come up as a kilogram, right? So you can do that. If you really wanted to, you could take it out of the capsule, do a little acid test on the outside of it too. So and you could also do the buoyancy tests. I don't know how you do that at Coin Show, but I just want to throw that out there. And one of the reasons is I had an opportunity to buy a kilo Libertad from a guy a couple years ago, and he shows up after the show's over pretty much. Everybody's packed up. No one has any of their machines out. And we only had the smaller machine, and I didn't want to be able to do that to completely, guarantee this. He was pushy. It's a little bit sketchy. Now, looking at it, it looked completely legit and real to me. It probably was, and it would have been an awesome coin to have. But I didn't really feel like I wanted to take the risk. My friends around me were like, no, you can't take the risk unless we can go get it tested on a bigger machine. And so I passed on it. And, I think that's okay. I didn't get defrauded. It was probably 95% chance that it was, fine and real. But if you're spending a lot of money on something, you want to double check it and make sure it's good, especially when you're getting into the gold stuff where the value is a lot higher. I think it's always good. So there's two other things I wanted to hit real quick before we go to the members only live stream. So there was another question in here, and then I want to get back to talking about like the constitutional silver. Here, this was it. Okay. So, there's three questions. So the first one is this one here. Where's the best place to buy? Actually, we did cover that.
You can always go to our website, pre-order through us or one of our distributors. They're all selling legit devices with legit warranties and all that.
And you can see the distributor list on their website. That's kind of what I started working on. And I was hesitating a little bit on buying one of these. This was around November.
You probably got in right before we sold out of everything.
So. Well, no, I spent like 4 days contemplating, do I buy one of these? Do I spend the money? Because what I was going through is, do I buy the bridge or not? I wanted to get the Pro anyway. And that fourth day was too long to wait, and boom, sold out, gone. And so I wasn't able to get it until I think you guys had a few come back in stock, like in December, and I got it right before the Long Beach show in January. Okay, so this would be the one here. Is there any advice on on someone wanting to get one or the other?
Yeah, so I mean, the major difference is the ability to test all the way through the sample, right? So the Pro, the larger the two, because it's got that sensor above and below the sample, it's testing all the way through. There's both no need to flip your samples when testing, but also if you're dealing with thicker samples or higher value samples like gold coins, you're testing 100% of the metal that's between those two sensors. The second big feature difference between the original and the Pro, and the investor has this feature as well, is the density testing, which we didn't go over a whole ton here. We could, there's videos of
Yeah,
how to do it on our
we'll hit that on
website.
the member stream next on
Totally
this.
talk about it there. But it's a feature that's included on the Pro and Investor, which means you can do a density test on your pieces without having to pull them out of the plastic. So that it was that water displacement test we talked about a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
You can do that right on the device.
Okay, perfect.
Make sure it's got the right specific gravity. And so that's a really useful feature. Those are kind of the two big features. And you, as a buyer, know kind of what your risk tolerance is and what features you prefer to do, because you can also totally do a density test on your own, separately from the original. And so the Pro offering that test it's a nice silver lining, but it's not technically required. So maybe you care about that, maybe you don't. Those are the big differences between the two. I usually say if you're getting into gold, I would step up to the Investor Pro just so you can test all the way through it and do that density test. If you're doing graded coins where you don't want to remove them from their capsule, the Investor and the Pro are both a little bit easier to test with that, again, because of that signal that's going all the way through. So if you're a silver stacker and you're buying 1 ounce rounds in coin flips, like, you're going to have a great time on the original. And we've also have plenty of customers who have 1 ounce gold coins, and they stick to the original, they swear by it, and they trust it for what they're testing it for, which is great as well. You know your risk tolerance for how thorough you want your testing to be.
And when I'm spending a good amount of money, it's a pretty low risk tolerance.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of, especially nowadays, if even the Pro and Bridge, if it catches 1 ounce of bad gold, it's paid for itself. So it just takes one bad deal, and then it's kind of covered itself up.
Well, it's the same like when I sell on eBay, a lot of people don't do the insurance. I do the insurance on there when it's a more expensive coin. I have friends that were doing auctions on YouTube, and they never did insurance. But one time they sent a gold coin to the wrong address, and they never got it back.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it's what your risk is, right? If you're going to send a gold coin to someone and it has the signature and it gets signed for, but then the person says, I never got it, eBay will refund you, but $100. You're out all the difference. If you've got the full value in there, then they should refund you the full amount. So it comes down to, are you willing to forego an extra $20 on shipping each time
for the surety that it's going to the right spot?
Do you want to self-insure yourself, and then you've got to look at how many shipments you have to make that go through perfectly for that one that goes wrong? So it's insurance, right? It's kind of how it works. Okay, the last question I wanted to get to, and then we'll jump over to the live stream for members only. I do know that there's some readings can be a little bit off when I'm doing like dimes. When I've done dimes on here, some of them were coming up as positive, and it turned out the date was past 1964.
So I can.
What is that, and how do we kind of deal with that?
Yeah. So first, just rule of thumb: a sample needs to entirely cover the black circle on the face of the device to get a reliable reading. Dimes are going to be too small for that. Quarters are also just barely too small. It doesn't actually, for those two examples, it's not going to change your end result too much, but just while we're talking about small pieces, I like to bring that up. It's best practices. But the reason for that is for 90% silver coins, the constitutional silver, to read the same as the modern clad coins is really thanks to the US Mint. They did that on purpose. Banks and the Mint and even vending machines use the same basic test that we're doing to check if a coin is real or not when you put it into the machine. And that meant that they had to have the old 90% silver versions read the same as the modern clad versions. So the modern clad versions have the same characteristic resistivity, even though they're a different alloy. However, if they're the same resistivity, they have to be different densities. And they're the same footprint. A quarter is the same size, whether it was from 1925 or from 1985, which means it will be lighter. So the modern coins are slightly lighter. I think it's a half gram or 0.75 of a gram lighter, or maybe even a couple grams. I'm not recalling it off the top of my head, but we do have an explanation of this on our website under coin reference and common questions. So first, just weigh your pieces, make sure they're the right weight. If it's past the weight and it's the right weight to be a 90% silver coin, then go and test it on resistivity and make sure it's also the right resistivity. But yeah, that's just a big shout out to the US Mint for
Yeah.
deciding to design the coins that way. It's a very
Well, I
common
mean, these
question.
are built on science, and the way that you just described too, those coins are calibrated to science. So sometimes you're going to butt up heads on that. Now, one thing that's nice about constitutional silver is you can look at the dates. So first off, if you can't see the dates on your constitutional silver, I would try to get rid of that by just not purchasing those coins. You know, the whole purpose of them, in my opinion, is you want them to be easy to use with and trade to people. And the date is the big thing with those. So if you've got some older ones that don't have the date on it and they're pretty worn, you know, you got to be careful with those ones. But for the most part, you're going to see a date on there. You can turn it on the side and see whether it's got any copper or not. So those are some good ways to test it as well. Last question, and then we're going to jump over to the other one. Is
I was hoping you'd bring this one up. Yeah.
Why did they discontinue the mini? I had a lot of people asking about mini, and I think a lot of people like the price point of the mini, and they like kind of the just the size of it.
Totally,
this
totally
is kind
mobile.
of large to carry around if you're just at a coin show. This one's not too bad, but the mini was. I think the mini's closer to like that size.
Yeah, and so I can answer the question for why we discontinued the mini, and then also what to look for in replacement for the mini. So the mini used a Wi-Fi chip to send the signal to the testing results from the device to your mobile device, your phone. That signal would interfere with the test results, and so we had to do a very specific Wi-Fi chip and then a very specific calibration. I may have mentioned this already, but all of the devices are hand calibrated at our factory in California. And so having to calibrate all those in that really tricky environment and kind of threading the needle on that was very difficult. And then the Wi-Fi chips themselves sometimes I think there was a time when just the Wi-Fi chip was more expensive than we were selling the device for. It was like, should we just resell the Wi-Fi chips and then we'll be a profitable business? And so it was just really both economically and practically a very difficult device to put together. And then there's kind of a support issue that we're always a little nervous about relying on second devices. You know, having an iPhone or an Android is great, and we had the app that worked for that. But then an iPhone update would come out and it would break our app. And we like a self-contained platform because then whatever else is happening in the world, if your Sigma device has power, it's going to be able to test pieces, which was just not true on the Mini. And so we felt just a little anxious about that. And so for all of those reasons, we then brought out the PMV Investor, which is kind of our spiritual successor to the Pro Mini. It's generally the same footprint. It's not quite as small as the Mini. The Mini was really, you know, pocket sized, but the Investor is that same adjustable arm. It has a built-in keypad and a built-in display. It's basically the Mini with a keypad and display on it. It is just between the size of it's actually closer to the size of the original than the Pro. And it is the same price point. The Mini was, I think, $16.99. The Investor was $17.49 before we had to increase prices earlier in the year. So it's that same kind of in-between price point for people as well to get access to one. So yeah, if you haven't looked up the Investor and you're wishing you could get a Mini, check out the Investor. You can see the videos of it on our website. I think that'll suit your needs pretty nicely.
Sounds good. And if you guys are new to the channel, please hit subscribe so you can see more videos. Hit the bell icon so you get the notifications, and then give a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed the video. And check out Sigma Metalytics. They've got a list of all the companies that sell it. I do not sell it on my website. I do not sell these, but I do use them, and I thought it would be fun for you guys to meet Parker, hear the story, which you can see in the video. So it's only, I think we put it out a week ago. You'll see our faces on there, so you can go back and look at that and get more of the story. But I've enjoyed them. They have saved me money. We have had fakes come across, and we've gotten rid of those. You also gotta check your cash too, guys, because there's a lot of fake cash that goes out there. But hopefully that was helpful. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna transition us over here, and see if I can do this right. because it's a little bit on the tricky side. But if you guys want to keep going, there's a membership. It's $1 a month. You can cancel it. And we're going to go into a couple other of the tests on this real quick. All right, it's going to give me 1 minute here, and it should rotate over. We got 1 minute until it goes to members only. Okay.
Well, in that last minute, can I just say thank you to everybody who's members and non-members who's been here and asked questions and engaged with us. It's always great seeing Sigma users and potential Sigma customers out there. And our info account is always open. Our phone lines are open for you to submit questions. If we didn't get to it here, you got another one that comes up. Oddball readings, anything like that, please send it to us. We're always happy to answer questions. And make sure your signals are working properly and help you out, get testing.
All right, thank you everybody for joining us. If you guys haven't seen the videos yet, we do have a video that just came out with Silver Dave, so check that out as well. It gives you a whole tour of his silver facility where he makes the silver bits, which is pretty cool. And we'll go from there.